Hi, I'm here in Keszthely, Hungary, in Western Hungary, interviewing Dr. Peter Grandics. We're going to find out more about his growing up in this area and how he came up with his formulations and how he got into natural sciences. His specialty was in biochemistry, and he's going to tell us more about how he came up with the MSQ, the effect block, how to take care of ourselves naturally. We are in the beautiful Keszthely Lake Balaton area in Hungary. It is the largest freshwater lake in Europe. So Dr. Grandics, tell me a little bit about your background, growing up here, your education, and the time you spent in Budapest.
I was born in this part of Western Hungary, that's called Zala County, where my grandparents lived. My parents moved up to Budapest, where I spent a large part of my life. I had my education over there, and I got my degree in chemical engineering at the Technical University of Budapest, and after that I was employed by the Semmelweis University Medical School, where I was teaching chemistry and biochemistry to medical students. And that's where I actually did my PhD studies. Got my PhD degree in steroid hormone receptor research. That was at those days very early and pioneering area of hormone research.
So tell me a little bit about how you ended up in the US.
I conducted steroid hormone receptor research at Semmelweis University Medical School, and that was at the forefront of the research area those days. So in recognition of that, I got an invitation to Yale University Medical School to continue the work over there, and this allowed me to go to the United States. Since this was still during the communist time, it took a year actually to get all the permissions for the exit of the country to the United States. And I continued hormone research at Yale University, and then I got an invitation to Temple University Medical School those days, where I got a better opportunities.
So while you were doing research, you transitioned into the private industry.
Yes.
And you did pharmaceutical work.
Yes.
So you worked in the pharmaceutical industry for quite a few years?
Yes, correct. Okay.
So after that, something happened and completely changed your life that caused you to do a 180 turnaround and go into natural medicine. Is that correct?
Yeah. My background with pharmaceutical materials lasted for over 20 years. And so I gained a lot of experience in terms of pharmaceuticals are manufactured, what kind of regulatory standards apply. So that gave me an entirely new vista compared to when I was just strictly doing research. And my personal health crisis was actually which led to a 180-degree turnaround in my thinking of how human health should be approached. And I came to realize that there is a huge vacuum actually in healthcare, because nutrition has been taken out of the equation about 100 years ago, when the Western medicine got completely re-engineered. And if you are out of balance nutritionally, then the chances are very slim that you can actually achieve a breakthrough and turn around your health, because simply your body doesn't have the building blocks which are needed for its homeostasis. So it's normal work. So I came to realize that nutrition is absolutely vital, and that led me to this new area in my life, which led to the new products, the MSQ line of products, and recently the Infect Block that was introduced. And this also brought a totally new level of understanding of the pathology of human disease, in particular cancer and infectious diseases. For about 4 years, I led a research group developing a new type of vaccines. Because those days the role of the immune system became a really central issue for me, partially due to my personal health crisis. And this was a very important and instructive area because that led me actually to transition out of mainstream science, mainstream biology, mainstream medicine into the nutritional area, because I came to understand that vaccines really have great limitations, and we simply can't hope to solve many important human health problems by going on that path. And if the human system is out of balance and primarily and to a significant part, I would say, due to nutritional deficiencies, then we can't hope that any other health care intervention would restore balance, because if we are deprived metabolically, we don't have the chance to achieve healing. So that's what led me actually into the nutritional area. And we were actually the first who deciphered the nutritional map of the human immune system. That immune system is central to human health. The MSQ products contain from 10 to 15 different types of nutrients, which when mixed together, they optimally support the immune system and help restore immunity. Cellular immune system, which is responsible actually to eradicate infectious agent as well as abnormal cells from the body. It is restored to full functionality, and then the immune system actually takes care of the disease agents.
Tell me a little bit about what the difference is between your product and other products that are out there in the market.
The MSQ products are still the only one on the market which were formulated really strictly scientifically, focusing on the needs of the immune system. As I said before, we were the first one and still the only organization which had the opportunity to make products based on the mapping of the nutritional complement of the human immune system. There is no other comparable product on the market, and no one has managed to achieve a similar understanding of the nutritional requirements of immunity.
And would you say that most of your products tend to be whole foods based?
Yes, exactly. So we are not following the same strategy what other companies were doing, that they take all sorts of vitamins, minerals, they make a cocktail out of that, because this is not the way to go. We need to give the nutrition to the body in a form that is the most conducive to that, so where it can really assimilate it. So if I want to give you an example, when you need for your car a gearbox, you are not buying separately gears and rods and everything and drop everything into a box, shake it up, and then you hope that the whole thing gonna form a gearbox. So we need to give the nutrition in a form to the body which is biologically optimal. And there is no way around that, and that's why our products are primarily composed of natural substances, natural foods actually.
So during the last couple of years, when the pandemic was going on, you and I were going back and forth a lot by email. You were in Hungary, I was back in the US, and we had a lot of discussions about the immunity and all the craziness that was happening. And you indicated at the time that you were formulating something that was going to be so effective for the immune system.
Yes.
So can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, I became concerned particularly during the COVID crisis that the public communication on the mechanism of infection is actually outdated, and this partially goes back to the area when I was doing the vaccine R&D, and obviously I had to develop a fairly deep understanding of the immune system those days. And it was pretty clear for me that infections do not happen the way we are being told and what the health authorities communicate to the people, because the entire infectious model of disease is outdated. It's way outdated. It's at least 40 years outdated, but somehow that never sunk into mainstream medicine, because we know already that the so-called infectious organisms are actually not infectious, but they actually exploit a weakened immune system, which can come about by a variety of ways, by prolonged stress, by nutritional deficiencies, which undermine our ability to control microorganisms, because microorganisms are everywhere and all bodies are saturated with microorganisms. We have more bacteria, for instance, in our body than human cells, and there are at least 200 different kinds of infectious viruses which are resident to our bodies. And so if we want to get sick, we do not need to import an extraneous infectious virus, because we are already loaded up with them. And the same applies to bacteria. So this came to the understanding that the central issue, once again, here is the immune system. It's not the bacteria or the viruses or fungi or whatever, or parasites, other microorganisms around, but the central issue is maintaining immunity, the normal functioning of the immunity. And if we fail at that, then we can be sensitive to all sorts of so-called infectious diseases. But in reality, what happens that when the immune system is stressed out, then endocrine system produces stress hormones, and those stress hormones lead to the destruction of a large population of our immune cells. And when our immune cells die, obviously our immune system gets weakened.
So let me clarify something. So A person gets infected because their immune system has been compromised.
Exactly.
Whether it's through stress or malnutrition or what have you.
Exactly.
But if they get infected with a compromised immunity, the infect block would eliminate, arrest the replication of viruses at its root, so that even with a compromised immunity, the virus will not keep replicating.
Exactly. So infectious agents get suppressed, their activity suppressed, but at the same time, these agents stimulate cellular immunity. So they assist in the restoration of the normal immune functions.
Okay, so not only does it arrest the replication, it also stimulates immunity.
Exactly.
Excellent.
Exactly.
Brilliant.
Exactly.
Brilliant.
Well, God is brilliant. Inspiration is vital. Actually, inspiration is the basis of all creation. And inspiration always comes from a higher level, which is fairly higher than actually knowledge. I mean, knowledge is just established information which accepted widely. But the top of it comes actually the practical experience, which is also very important. But inspiration is the very beginning of the creative process. In the development of the infect block, this played a very important role. I would say 80%, and then obviously then comes knowledge of bioprocessing, how to create a product, but inspiration is at the root of everything.
So what are your thoughts about people who have tried taking care of themselves, tried to fix the deficiency issues, but are just not quite getting well? They're not 100%. They are just trucking along, still struggling. What are your thoughts on that?
The human system has a mental and a physical part, and they are tightly intertwined. And the mental part is extremely critical for maintaining health. And much of our physical ailments actually a consequence of some imbalances which developed in the mental area. And so it is very important actually to take an integrated look at our health and look at both aspects of our being, both the mental and the physical. The mental and the physical, as I said, intertwined, and if we can achieve balancing out the physical, actually it's a two-way road. It impacts also the mental imbalances, but this effect is just transitionary if we don't work really on restoring our mental health. If we look at our mental makeup, lifestyle changes, lifestyle decisions are extremely important, because if someone conducts a self-destructing lifestyle, smokes, consumes lots of alcohol, constantly stresses himself out, that's a recipe for disaster.
So would you say that no MSQ in the world can save them if they will refuse to change their mindset and change their lifestyle?
The MSQ helps a great degree, but depending on how deep trouble they are in the mental area, basically that can cancel out the beneficial effect of the MSQ. And that's a very important point to take into consideration. Because if we continue a self-destructing path, a self-destructing lifestyle, then our opportunity to restore health are just exponentially shrinking.
you're going back to America to continue more scientific
Yes.
work right now.
Yes,
So is this a place that you would love to come back to?
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. This is gave me so much inspiration and so beautiful. I love the people. People are very natural and good-hearted. So whenever I come here, that's sort of a rejuvenation process.
Okay. What's the biggest difference between the lifestyle here and in the U.S., where you lived many years now?
Exactly.
Yeah. What's the biggest difference?
I think the biggest difference for me was the much greater dimensions in the U.S. So going from Hungary to the U.S., it was sort of a dimensional shift for me, because I enjoyed getting into a much greater world that's greatly expanded compared to the small country where I was born and I was raised. So that helped me actually to expand my thinking and my mind greatly. So in that sense, being living and working at the United States was a great experience, and I have to say I benefited greatly from that. But Hungary is just a small place where I can regain balance and enjoy life, so to speak.
Is it harder to have balance and enjoy life in the U.S., even with a great place like San Diego?
Yeah. The United States is all about work, you know.
Interesting.
You work, and those small things in life, like, you know, meet friends in a cafeteria, or just take a couple of days off just for rebalancing yourself. That's not part of life over there.
Not part of life.
No. So the United States mostly about work, and of course that's has a very important role in our life, and actually for personal development point of view, and also from the point of view of society. That's very important. Hungary and overall Europe is more laid back.
Oh, okay.
So what they say is, Europeans says that in Europe you work to live, but in the United States you live to work.
Oh, that's sad, isn't it? That's really sad. Hopefully we can change something.
Right, hopefully. Yeah.
Well, thank you very much for the interview. Really appreciate your insights. I appreciate the work you have put into your life work, into the products you have developed to help humanity. And I hope that people's mindset and hearts will be ready to receive it. You know, because it's something that has come from divine inspiration. It's a gift from God, and it will behoove us to appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Olivia.